Buy or Sell is presented by the Robertson and Cox Real Estate Team. Looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? We've got your back. Centrally located in Radford, Virginia, the RNC team is proudly and professionally serving the New River Valley, Roanoke, and Southwest Virginia. With over 35 combined years of experience, we have all the knowledge needed to help you reach your real estate goals. Contact us today for all of your real estate needs. Visit rncteam.com to learn more.
What's going on, Hokie fans? It's time for everybody's favorite show. It's the Syracuse Week edition of Buy or Sell. We got the football crew on set. Nick Brown behind the scenes, Will Stewart in the fourth chair, Andy Bitter across the way, and Chris Coleman sitting to my right. As always, I'm Giovanni Heater. And guys, without further ado, let's get into it. Nobody had a terrific week by any means when the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets came to town, but we will go through our results. Our first line was 2 and out rushes Haynes. So you had the 2 tailbacks featured for each team. Andy, Chris, David, myself, Nick, and the fans all bought it. We were all right. Will, you said you misclicked, and it came to bite you.
I accidentally sold it, and then I stood by it. So that's why I went 0-5.
I mean, if I went 0-5, I'd be like, I definitely misclicked a few on there. That was not my fault. I misclicked. I misclicked all 5, actually. I had it right, 5-0, and I misclicked.
Yeah, no doubt. Georgia Tech has 4.5 or more yards per carry. Andy got it right. I got it right, and we were the only 2 because we sold it. Everybody else bought it, and that's not how things went down on Saturday. Virginia Tech has 15 or more yards, or 15 or better yard punt return by Jalen Lane. Nick got it right, and the fans got it right because they bought it. We were all wrong. They sold it, and I mean, he just kept returning punts. My thought process was he's not going to get to return many. He had been calling more and more fair catches as of late, it felt, and that's not how it went. And there were a lot of punts in the game.
There were, and he didn't have it until that third quarter, I think it was, when he got that 25-yarder. But he had a 14-yarder in the very first one, and I was hoping it would hold up.
Yeah. Virginia Tech wins in time of possession on Saturday. David got it right, and the fans got it right because they sold it. The Hokies did not win in time of possession. The rest of us were wrong. Virginia Tech
Get
offense.
1 first down in like the last 5 drives, and that would have gone the other way. They just couldn't get a first down. They were 3 and out, it seemed like every single drive. So
also,
that one was within the grasp, and they lost it.
Yeah, and a stat I discovered doing Monday Thoughts is Georgia Tech ran 81 plays, which is the most since most against a Brent Pry coach team. So that played into it.
Also, the stats went down during the game. So like you could kind of figure out all the other ones, but the TOP was like, which way is this going to go? This was like hanging in the balance for them to like call a state in the election or something like that.
Yeah.
It went the other way for Georgia Tech. It was a little disappointing.
I think it's hard to win time of possession if you only run 23 plays in enemy territory. And that's what Virginia Tech's offense was able to do. Virginia Tech offense, 35% or better on third downs. All of us bought it. And Virginia Tech went, what was it, 2 of 15?
I think Nick was lamenting how low he put that number, and then he suckered us all in, and we all missed it. I mean, they were 0 for 4, 0 for 5 in the first half. It's like, this one's over. Like, they've got no shot.
Yeah. It was 2 of 15 the final mark?
I think, yes.
2 of 15.
Yeah, 2 of 15, and the week before was 2
Not
of 9.
great.
Yeah, yeah. Something that's going to have to improve this week because Syracuse is very good offensively and defensively, top 15 in the country in third down. So something to keep an eye out for, no doubt. So the standings currently sit as such. We got a 2-way tie at the top. We got David and the fans with 47.5%. And then we got a 2-way tie for third. It's Chris and Andy. They're correct 45% of the time. Will, sole possession of fifth at 42.5. So everybody's within a question or 2 of each other here, it seems. Nick is in sixth, 40%. And I'm starting to get out of this race. I'm at the bottom of the basement, 7th place, 37.5%.
If 500 is bowl eligibility, then we're all staying home for the holidays.
Yeah, very true. Very true. All right, let's get into this week's lines. We have some fun ones, no doubt about it. We'll start. Kyle McCord, 50 or more passing attempts. Chris, what do you think?
Sell.
Sell?
Yeah, sell. I think Virginia Tech will run the ball a decent amount. And, he's averaging, 49.5?
Yeah.
So, it could go either way. That's a really good line by Nick. I'll sell it. I didn't put a lot of thoughts of thought in my picks. It's Virginia Tech versus Syracuse.
Yeah, sure.
Anything can happen.
What you got, Andy?
I sold this one. I know what his average is. He's only hit it twice or 3 times this year. Once was exactly on the number at 50. Last week they were down almost immediately. So they really had to abandon the running game, had to throw it almost every down. I don't feel like it'll be that type of game. And if it's not that type of game, I just don't know that you have to come out and just chuck it every single time. So 50 is a huge number. I'll go under.
Will, what you thinking?
Well, I agree. I'm selling it, Andy, but I'm agreeing with you from that standpoint. But looking at his game logs, his last 4 games, 50 attempts, 63, 42, and 64. The 50 and 63 came in wins. So.
Okay, 60, that was an overtime game, too.
True. Very true.
Enough.
High-scoring overtime game.
High-scoring overtime game.
When have they ever played one of those in the history of Virginia Tech and Syracuse?
In the carry.
Other than the 50-42. As a wasp comes down and threatens me.
Georgia Tech is still haunting us after the 21-6 Hokie win last week. We got a yellow jacket on set. Nick
floating around in the ceiling.
Nick went ahead and bought this thing. He thinks Kyle McCord throws 50 or more. David bought this thing, and I'm going to buy it as well. No real rhyme or reason. I got to go against the grain here and try and make up some ground, so I'm going to buy it.
What could possibly go wrong trying to go against the grain and try to catch up?
Yeah, well, we got nothing to lose at this point.
It's a good point.
So, all right, our next line, Syracuse 100 or more rushing yards. Will, what you got?
I bought it. I think that's a contrarian pick. I think if I'm selling McCord at 50-plus pass attempts, that means he's going to pass it a little less, and it kind of goes hand in hand with that.
Andy?
I bought it for the same reasons. I know they were awful last week on the ground. I think they had like 6 rushing yards in that game. But again, they abandoned the run game because they had to throw it to try to get back in that thing. I think this will be a little bit closer, more rushing attempts. I like LaQuint Allen to get some yards on this, so I got him over 100.
I'm selling it because McCord has minus 121 rushing yards for his career. Mm-hmm. He's only been in positive yardage 2 of 7 games this year. And LaQuint Allen isn't averaging 100 yards per game. And he hadn't had a 100-yard game yet this year. So for me, I think it'll be difficult for them to get that. But all it takes, he'll break off like a 65-yarder in the first quarter, and then it'll be over. All it takes is one run sometimes.
Well, for context, they average 90 yards rushing a game. So
to piggyback off of Chris's point too, that we didn't even actually mention in the preview pod because it wasn't super duper important. But LaQuint's backup, who does get a good handful of carries, Yassine Willis, he got rolled up on at the end of the Pitt game, and he is questionable coming into this thing. And they got LaQuint Allen, but if they don't have Yassine Willis because their normal second string running back is out for the season, Will Nixon, he's the offensive coordinator's kid transferred from Washington. If you only have LaQuint Allen and then nobody else, then you're really in trouble. So I'm going to sell it.
Willis is the bigger back too. He's 6'1", 226 pounds.
Yep. So I'm going to sell it for that reason, especially if Yassine Willis doesn't go. Nick went ahead and sold it. And then David went ahead and sold it. So we're pretty split on this one, no doubt. And I'm still going against Andy and Will trying to make up some ground here. Malachi Thomas, sticking with the rushing game, 25 or more rushing yards. Andy, what you thinking?
Speaking of teams that are in trouble if they get to their backup running back, I mean, he hasn't done much this year. He hasn't had 25 yards in the last 5 games combined when you total them all up. So I think, if Tootin is healthy, I think he's going to get the vast majority of the workload. They just really haven't called on Thomas a whole lot this year. He's got to this mark once, and that was a blowout against Marshall. I don't think this game will be a blowout, and in a close game, I just don't think he gets a lot of work. So I sold it.
Chris?
I sold it. I mean, you talk about 25 yards. I mean, he's only got, 25 carries all year.
Yeah.
So now, obviously, it would be more if Tootin couldn't play. But
and now PJ's out.
He's an inside zone running back. And Tech is an outside zone team, so he's not really a fit for their scheme, and I think that's why they haven't been using him nearly as much as they did last year, so I'm selling it.
Will?
I am buying it.
Oh.
Because I'm on a rocket sled to the basement of this thing, baby.
Or the
I'm
top.
Making contrarian picks all the way. So I'm buying it. I'm speaking of buying things, I'm not buying that Tootin's 100% healthy, so I think Thomas will get some carries.
Yeah, I don't think Tootin's 100% either. But I'm going to sell this thing. I just haven't seen enough out of Malachi Thomas. Nick is buying it. He's got Thomas for 25 or more, and then David is selling it. And with that, let's send it over to Will for our ad read here on Buy or Sell.
You ready for my ad read voice, Gio?
Let's hear it. Infomercial time.
Buy or Sell is brought to you by the Robertson and Cox Real Estate Team. List your property with the RNC team, and not only will it be listed on the MLS as usual, it will be shown to tens of thousands of TechSideline.com visitors and Tech Sideline social media. I lost my place. See, that's what you get for looking at the camera. Plus, we'll give you a free 1-year subscription to TechSideline.com and a cool piece of Tech Sideline apparel, which is quality stuff, by the way. Visit randcteam.com to learn more.
It is good stuff. Will's got lots of good stuff.
Not bad, except for the flub.
There we go. All right, Peter Moore, 55 or more yard punt in this game, playing in the dome. No elements. What you got, Chris?
Is this the fourth question?
It is the fourth question.
Then I sold it.
Okay.
For no rhyme or reason. Just sold it.
All right. Andy?
I sold this one. He's only done this twice this year, 2 different games. Had 257 yards, I think, against Georgia Tech. One was when the guy almost caught it, then it bounced a little bit farther past him. The elements are in his favor here because you don't have the wind working against you like this. But, 55 is a pretty long punt, and you do have to be in a certain part of the field even to get a punt like that off. So, I sold this one. I just don't think he gets it.
Will?
Sold it. That's a long punt. I just don't think it's going to happen.
All right. Well, I got to make up some ground. So I bought it because he's in the dome, and maybe that'll help him out a little bit. Although with that new drop-down video board, I'm scared you could actually hit it if you kick it.
If that happens to somebody, so what is the ruling on that?
I think it's just a re-kick.
Re-kick.
Yeah.
That happened in the Jerry World when they first built that. They had the big thing, and it was a preseason game. And like the Titans punter or something hit it twice, I think. I think he was like trying to make a point about it or something like that. But I don't think it's happened since then in a game. Maybe happened once or twice. But
you'd have to kill it.
Well, people are thinking, this is going to happen every game. I think like Jeff Fisher went out to try to make it a point that you could hit that thing with his punter. So I don't know.
Sure.
But in that case, they repunted it.
I believe so. I think the rule is they replayed it.
Maybe we'll find out on Saturday. I bought it, Nick bought it, and then David bought it as well. And then our final line for the Syracuse-Virginia Tech game up in the Dome this Saturday, Hokies convert 1 or more 4th down attempts. We'll start it with Chris.
I bought it. Teams go for it more on 4th downs these days. Virginia Tech has a big quarterback. They've got a very good running back if he's healthy. And so I just bought it for those reasons.
I bought it as well. There's 6 of 8 this year in games that they've had a 4th down conversion. Like you said, they got a big quarterback in drones. They like to do the tush push if it's really close. I think in a close game, you're going to need one of those to convert, so I think it's going to happen.
Worth noting, too, a fake field goal still counts as going for it on 4th down. Will, what you got?
Let's see. I bought it also. I picked Syracuse to win, so I think Tech will have to go for it on 4th down here or there. Andy, did you say 6 of 8? Because I'm looking at the stats, and Tech is 6 of 13 on the season.
No, I say in 6 of 8 games, they've converted a 4th down this year.
Right.
I said that poorly. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so they go for it about 1.5 times a game. And by the way, let me throw this comment in there. One of the things I like that they're doing is on some of these 4th and shorts and 3rd and shorts, they're lining up quick. Getting drones under center and going. Yeah. And that beats the hell out of lining up in shotgun on 4th and 1.
Yeah, I'm with you. I bought it. I think that they're going to be willing. Like that's just kind of how the modern era of football has gone, right? On the road, conference game. If you're in plus territory, you're going to go for it on 4th and short, right? That's just kind of how football's played nowadays, especially when you got a big body like drones. They do it almost every week. It feels like they go for it on a 4th and short if the opportunity's there. So I didn't see why there was a reason to sell this one.
Sometimes you got to kick that field goal, though, right, Duke?
Fair. I bought it. Nick bought it. David bought it, so it sounds like everybody's buying this one. So we'll see if that comes to bite us at all when it's all said and done. All right, guys, looking forward to a fun one on Saturday. Appreciate the time. We'll see how the standings continue to play out. For Nick Brown, Will Stewart, Andy Bitter, Chris Coleman, I'm Giovanni Heater saying so long. We'll see you next week.